Hello, beautifuls. This is Aromie here, and welcome back to The Only Girl. So we are here with this cutie of a green-haired guy, or as my character likes to say it, toothpaste, minty green hair guy. Oh, I get it. He's our shy little butterfly.
Anyway, my apologies again for disturbing you. I'll just go and.
Wait,
Eh?
Is the bar supposed to be like this? It's weird. I was surprised when he grabbed my wrist so suddenly, and as I was about to leave. Where'd it go? Immediately he looked embarrassed and let go, slinking back down. That actually caused a smile to form upon my lips. He may seem utterly lazy in class, but in truth he was rather cute. Oh wait, I almost forgot.
What's your name?
my name?
I seriously thought he was going to question why I didn't know it, but instead he just told me.
It's Emmett.
Oh! Even a cute name. Oh, you're so precious.
Ah, so you're just an average, everyday guy who in truth is the drumroll special!
What?
What?
Oh, sorry. I have a random tendency to reference stuff.
Oh, I see then.
Emmet looked relieved. Wait, why? Usually people would either be confused or roll their eyes when I spew things like that. But Emmett looked not only caught off guard, but generally almost worried. As if I was Haruhi to his Mikuru, scheming to do a movie shoot that would only end up in embarrassment.
But anyway, yeah, I'm Emmett Gardner. It's nice to meet you.
Emmett, you're adorable.
Sarah Abigail St. Clemens.
Looks like I'm not the only one not knowing names here. He seemed to smile warmly at hearing that name.
Sounds nice. Like some kind of royal line.
Minus actual royalty and money.
So, you're on scholarship then?
No, I was the one cringing in fear.
Yeah.
You must be really smart then.
Smart? He says this with a confident smile on his face.
Oh, no. I do well enough where I won't fail the scholarship, but I'm not a straight A student.
Is he blushing? So cute. But I've also never dropped to C or lower either.
Still, you are lucky. It is hard to get sponsored for these private schools. They are very selective.
Yeah, well, I kinda won a raffle.
Which made the girls at my old school even more pissed and told me I didn't belong in their school. Emmett's eyes grew wide in amazement. Why though?
Cool. I've never won anything, much less something so important.
Really? Shocking.
If this school is so selective, why are you sleeping in class without even the teacher stopping you? Either the school really doesn't give a crap or there's some secret I don't know about. Hey, wait! This guy was nervous just being in my presence several moments ago. How's he suddenly become so calm and comfortable?
You must really have a knack for warming up to people. Quite an epic skill, I must say.
He just stared at me, looking flustered. Oh great, with that statement, have I reverted him back to those moments ago?
I'm not good with people.
He looked away while saying this, with an expression that could be read as either sad or seething. And I just wanted to relax and play video games. I didn't expect to continue conversing with the minty-haired boy. Yet, this totally beats video games any day.
This Emmett guy sure is interesting.
Hell yeah, let's date him.
I am?
Oh, yes. I jolted, not intending for him to hear that. Actually, I meant to think it, not say it.
I need to get back to my room. School's been quite exhausting, so I'm just gonna kind of relax and play games for the remainder of the day.
Emmett nodded in understanding, pulling his headphones over his ears.
Have a nice evening, Miss Sarah.
What? Don't call me Miss... But the way he said it, I'm not too mad about it.
Sarah?
Isn't that your name?
It's actually said Sarah Abigail. But, yeah, you can call me Sarah.
Yeah, let him call you that. That was cute. I grabbed my backpack, ready to head to the
Catch
dorms.
you later, Em.
Aw, before I could hear Emmett question my random shortening of his name, I was already off in the direction of the dorms. I mean, he shortened our name, we'll shorten his name. Cute. Oh, teddy bear. 7 o'clock was approaching. My stomach growled, but I was too involved in this game I was playing. It was some sort of RPG, but it had several love interests available. Now you could play a dude, and the love interests are girls, but I have fun playing matchmaker. My choices consisted of 4 lovely girls. One who is noble yet enticing. One who is serious and a bit tsundere. Sorry. One who is shy and cute but mysterious, and one who is sweet but is not afraid to kick your ass. I wonder where I fall in that. It's some indie title I picked up that was released in limited quantity, so I'm quite lucky. The packaging was impressive too. Came with lots of extra goodies. I have to say that I really like the shy, mysterious girl, Emery. She's just so cute. I really want the main guy to get with her, whom I have promptly named Bob for some reason. Beside me was a bag of potato chips I totally forgot I had. Now I have no need to stop by the school's vending machine and possibly get dragged to dinner by Zach. So far this game has been pretty easy. Then again, I purposely set the difficulty level low as to speedily get through the story without having to repeatedly try and defeat a boss to advance. Once I am well versed in the game's mechanics, then I can start getting serious. After it was around 8 o'clock, I decided to save and get ready for bed. I know it was early, but at this point I was exhausted. Today's events were probably not all that exhausting, but certainly not an average day either. At least I was able to smooth things over with Emmett. It's so nice to actually call him something instead of simply my classmate or minty-haired. And now my thoughts as I narrate to a non-existent audience, much like writing a diary nobody will read but me. All the major characters in my life story have presented themselves in this one day. Zakaria Hahn, Tori Kale, Henry Ackerman, and Emmett Gardner. God certainly does have a way with fate. Chapter 2. One problem I had with my old school was how completely isolated I felt. Middle school wasn't so bad, especially when we had the pen pal program with corresponding schools. But my first year of high school was a complete nightmare. By this time I was completely alone. Anyone I was on friendly terms with had moved away or was transferred to another school. Anyone who had a dislike for me seemed to stay, with the numbers increasing. But why should I even fret over all that? I'm here now. I should just embrace it, and I shall. After spending a good amount of hours on video games last night, I decided to enjoy the morning by eating outside. I still had a few leftover items from my gaming stash that would be suitable for breakfast, which saves me the trouble of buying more. I honestly low-key thought the game was ending there, and I was going to be quite sad because I'm kind of attached. With a backpack thrown over my shoulder, I rushed out of my dorm and into the loving morning. I figured to go to my favorite spot under the tree. And not to my surprise, Emmett happened to be there with his headphones on, eating a Danish. I approached, dropping my bags. He doesn't seem to notice.
Good morning.
Still no response. Ugh, he must have noise-canceling headphones.
Hey, can I sit here?
At that moment, he happened to turn his head, then twisted back in surprise.
It's the girl from yesterday.
I have a name.
Yes, morning, Sarah.
So, I was asking, is it okay if I sit here?
I guess.
Oh, you're so cute!
Awesome!
I lay back against the tree, ripping the plastic covering from a blueberry muffin. Emmett immediately puts his headphones back on, no longer eating, so he intends to ignore my existence. Rolling my eyes, I continue with the rest of my muffin. Then a bag of chips, and a couple of candy bars. Lastly, a bottle of water. I turn my head, still seeing Emmett quietly sitting there, staring at the screen of his music player. Honestly, I'm really wondering what he could be listening to. Must be good if it's able to have his full attention, even when I'm sitting next to him.
Hey, what you listening to?
Almost instinctively, my hands go for the headphones perched atop his head.
Wait a minute. What are you doing?
Yoink?
Yoink! Not really thinking of all the possible consequences, I grab his headphones and put them on to hear what he's listening to.
Give those back.
Oh my gosh! Is this Vocaloid music?
I really appreciate it if you did.
It's Unhappy Refrain sung by Miku! I love this song!
Oh, we're so cute.
Okay, now can I have my headphones back now?
What else is on this thing?
I then yank away the music player and start pressing the next button.
It's really not nice to steal.
More Miku? I know she's popular, but you should try other Vocaloids. Hey, your hair is just about her color. You should cosplay Mikuo. You look so perfect.
Oh my god, what if that's a secret? He's a big Hatsune Miku fan.
I'm not.
What's this song? Isn't this the opening for that one anime?
The aura emanating from Emmett seemed to be full of frustration and impatience, but I was too enthralled and excited to pay mind to it. I just kept hitting next to sample song after song in the playlist.
No way! Is this an SNSD song? You're into K-pop?
Yo, Emmett has my heart.
Please stop.
He's a cute fanboy over here. Emmett looked like he was about to break down and cry. That is, if he doesn't punch me in the face first. I wouldn't blame him either. Passing through just a few more songs, some classical pieces, country music, and even some obscure rock songs. Emmett finally yanks the music player from my hands as well as the headphones. He looked sweaty and irritated, like he mustered all of his strength and energy to build the courage to take his stuff back. I placed my hands on my lap.
Sorry, that was really rude of me.
Emmet doesn't say anything. He just holds the two items defensively as if to prevent another occurrence. We pretty much didn't say anything to each other after that. I continued to eat in silence, and so did he. To be honest, I'm surprised he didn't tell me to go away. It was then 5 minutes until class starts, so I organized my backpack and stood up, dusting off any nature's leavings.
Hey, since we're in the same class, it's going to start in 5 minutes.
I'm so bad at trying to undo awkwardness.
I'll see you in class, Emmett.
Unsure if he heard me or simply coincidence, Emmett hangs his headphones on his neck and prepares his backpack, standing up. I wasn't sure whether I should wait for him or not, so I just stood there. Not even looking at me, he walked ahead. Since we were going the same direction, I quietly followed. Class seemed to drag on longer than it should have, probably because of how awkward I felt about today's incident with Emmett, and the fact that he sits right next to me doesn't help. The teacher finally dismisses us and everyone begins gathering their stuff. I can't help but have my gaze drawn to Emmett as he quietly gathered his stuff. I still feel bad. I'm not sure what came over me. I try to muster the courage to speak, but as soon as I do, he slings his backpack over his shoulder and heads for the door. But before he's out of my range,
Wait!
I grab onto his wrist and he immediately stops. I was almost afraid he would pull away, but he didn't. I freeze. I don't know what to say. I just feel like such an idiot, like I ruined any opportunity to befriend him. But still, I wanted to get to know him properly. He might be shy and awkward, but I find him to be the most interesting guy here. Perhaps because he's so hard to read. We must have stood there for the longest 30 seconds of my life. At this point, I wouldn't blame him if he just yanked his arm from my grip and walked away. But
I'm going to the library.
Shouldn't you eat first?
You can eat there, in one area.
I see.
what? Did it say I could come with him, but I can't sit with him? I slowly loosened my hand's grip on his sleeve and let my arm fall back to my side.
You can come if you want.
Oh.
Eh?
After saying that, he left the classroom, most likely to his destination. I stood there, not sure how to react. I couldn't tell if his invitation was out of reluctance or something else. His eyes were always facing downwards, looking off to the side. Certainly difficult to read he is. But challenges are fun. Challenges are fun. Being the last one to leave the classroom, I sling my backpack over my shoulder and press onward into the madhouse that was the hallway. And as usual, Zach was waiting for me amidst the crowd.
Ah, my lady. Shall we go to lunch together?
Sorry, Zach. I was invited to lunch.
Say no more. I see how it is.
Backs away slowly, grabbing his backpack from the floor and holding it from the top handle.
Perhaps if I give you some space.
Huh?
Gives a slight bow before taking off for the cafeteria. Okay, what is up with him? I don't know, but I'm going for Emmett, so. After taking a few items from the cafeteria, I continued down the hall and searched for the school library. I never really had a chance to see what kind of books they carry here. Being a boarding school and all, I'm sure it's not just school materials. Upon entrance, it was as if the whole world went silent. There were a few students here and there, either studying or leisurely reading. There were many bookshelves lined up, and even stairs leading to more bookshelves, tables, and couches.
I wonder where Emmett could be.
As I aimlessly wandered past several tables, I immediately came to a halt upon seeing Henry, reading an oddly familiar paperback. Whether it was the aura of my presence, or simply I made enough noise to signal my existence, Henry looked up from his reading.
Ah, Sebi. Nice running into you here. Why do you look so startled, though?
Well, just... I usually get surprised when I run into someone I know when I wasn't expecting them. Yeah, actually, the reason for that is connected to bad experiences. So, don't mind me. It's a reflex.
Interesting. Perhaps you could explain why sometime. By the way,
He turns the book he was reading toward me, which turns out to be a manga, and points at a particular character.
is this the character you were confusing me with yesterday?
Wow, that kind of touched me that he actually went and looked for the manga just to see who I was talking about. His finger tapped on a panel of Mikasa Ackerman, being the badass she is on the 3D gear. I did my best to hold in the excitement of the fact he's reading Attack on Titan in the first place, so that I don't disturb anyone else's reading. Though, thinking about the incident yesterday, I certainly do feel embarrassed.
Well, obviously not exactly since you're not a girl, just your last name. There's another badass character who's a guy with that surname too, but it'd be a spoiler if I told you who it was.
I see. Well, I guess I should keep reading then. It's rather interesting, I must say.
You honestly touched my heart. Yeah, gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably grinning like an idiot right now, but who cares?
Oh, shoot, I was actually going to meet someone. Have you seen a boy with minty hair around here?
He's like, what? Henry gave me the weirdest look after hearing that description.
Sorry, run that by me again?
Oh, it's the same color as Miku Hatsune's hair. Like, he sort of looks like Mikuo.
Henry nods slowly, still with that weird and confused look on his face, and slightly turns on his chair.
I think the person you're looking for is over near the music section.
Obviously.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Have a good day, then.
Oh, you're so sweet, Henry. I speed up almost to a run, then realize that's probably not a good idea here, so I slow down my pace. Sure enough, there was Emmett, wearing his headphones, taking notes. I quietly approached, taking a seat across from him and setting my backpack by my
Hi,
chair.
Emmett.
Oh, he's canceling headphones. I reach my hand over to tap his head, but then he jolts back.
I wasn't.
He probably thought I was trying to steal from him
I
again.
was just trying to get your attention.
Resting his headphones on his neck, he sits back down and picks up his pencil. I lean in, curious as to what he was doing.
Are you studying for the test?
Sort of.
Sort of? How does one just sort of study?
I don't really need to.
Hard to believe since you sleep through most of class.
He flinched a bit when I said that. Setting his pencil aside, he looks at me and turns his notebook around. I was a bit confused at this suggestion, but tilted my head and looked down at it. They were most obviously notes, well organized, I must say. Clean handwriting,
If
too.
you missed anything, these are the important points discussed in class today.
How do you know he fell asleep?
What? Wait, huh? No way! You were asleep the whole time I saw you!
A sea of shh were uttered at the raising of my voice.
Yeah, you were asleep. There's no way.
It doesn't mean I didn't hear what was going on.
He's a prodigy, guys.
But you couldn't even see the blackboard.
I could sort of fill in the blanks.
Prodigy. I was at a loss for words. There's just no way. These had to contain some mistakes, I'm sure. Obviously, Emmett could sense my doubt and took the notebook back. After that, the rest of lunch period was pretty quiet. The only noise was me unwrapping some highly processed snack to munch on. The rest of the day was pretty exhausting. Whatever the teacher said went over my head, which probably wasn't a good thing. I wonder, though, if it's true Emmett is actually paying attention, then I don't have to worry about it. Wait, then it just sounds like I'm using him as a backup. I should just accept the consequences of not getting any effort to listen. Our last class ended, and I was ready to fall asleep at my desk. In fact, I rested my head on my arms and began to slowly doze off.
Sarah.
I'm awake, I swear!
My vision clears up and sees a slightly startled Emmett standing there.
You didn't fall asleep in class, did you?
That really sounds ironic, coming from you.
Almost, but I managed until the end.
Oddly enough, it seems our simple conversation drew a bit of attention.
That lazy ass who sleeps is actually talking to someone?
And the only girl here too? Lucky bastard.
Yes, he is lucky, because he's nice, and it sounds like you two aren't by talking behind his back like that, so I certainly will never give you the time of day.
Maybe we should go now?
Oh, you're so cute. That's it.
Yeah, I don't like it when people whisper behind my back.
Upon saying that, the two idiots seemed to have froze. Emma, however, seemed uncomfortable that I made known we heard them. So he immediately took my hand. Oh, he took my hand? Okay, and ran for the hallway.
Hey!
Luckily, my reflexes told me to grab my backpack as soon as I felt my butt hovering for a split second above my chair. But the most shocking thing about all this was that I never would have expected Emmett to be so bold. This is more of something I would do. Maybe we're actually a lot more similar than what it seems. After making a sharp turn, Emmett stops and I immediately halt too, so I crash into him. The two of us stand there catching our breaths. Does this game already know that I would have fallen in love with Emmett?
Wow, Emmett, that was cool!
Huh?
Didn't expect you to take me with you.
What the heck? Upon mentioning that, Emmett's eyes shift downward to behold his hand firmly gripping mine. Cheeks flush red and he immediately lets go.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Oh, you're so cute! Oh, shyness is actually rather adorable. He just needs to be a little more
No
confident.
need to apologize. I like running. No matter the reason, running is fun.
And it can be a sure trip to the nurse's office.
Oh, thanks, Tori.
Damn it, Tori! Don't just appear behind me!
I didn't appear behind you. I don't have teleportation.
Honestly, Tori would be like the second guy I would go after.
Well, sometimes it sure seems like you do.
Well, if not, you'd probably be walking in crutches.
Ugh.
I groan.
Anyway, what do you want, Mr. Hall Monitor?
Nothing. I was just surprised that the sight of running wasn't led by you for once.
It's not like I'm the only one with urges to run. Man, this school needs better PE, I swear.
You should take up track. Waste your energy out on the field instead of in the halls.
I would, but the track teams were all full.
Too bad.
Anyway,
He requested it, and then I'm like, I couldn't. It was full, and he's like, oh, too bad.
shoot, where's the restroom? I need to go. See you some other time.
Need me to stand guard again?
Oh, if you don't mind.
No, thank you. I'll be fine.
I head inside the restroom, hoping the stalls were closed. As I made my way deeper, I noticed someone who had just walked up to one of the urinals. I froze, and before he could unzip himself, he froze and turned to look at me. The two of us blushed hot crimson.
I'll just.
I was on the verge of screaming.
I'll just use a stall.
Wait, it's Emmett! Nearly having a panic attack himself, Emmett jumps into one of the stalls, slamming the door shut. Still red in the face, I nervously staggered into the stall that happened to be next to his. Using a public restroom is awkward enough. This was even worse, especially since it was obvious we both had to take a leak, so the sound of rushing water loudly mingled as it splashed inside the tank it made things feel even more weird. We practically exited out in unison. We didn't speak nor look at each other as we washed our hands. Emmett quickly got out of there, and I just slowly exited and fell back on the wall. Tori was on the other side standing watch.
Guess I was a bit late.
Oh, thanks, Tori. Today was certainly eventful. I feel both exhausted and embarrassed at the same time. Even if some unpleasant things happened, there were a lot of good things. Right now, I wondered how I wanted to spend the rest of my evening. I could pig out and play games in here, or maybe I could spend some time with some of my new friends. They might very well be real friends this time. I shouldn't waste the opportunity. I guess I'll Emmett, duh. I'm not even gonna. I wonder where Emmett could be right now. But after that awkward time in the bathroom, I don't know. Still, friends go through embarrassing times with each other, right? It's just one of those things. We'll laugh about it someday. And in all honesty, no one interests me more than Emmett. He's so quiet and hard to read, and I want to crack the mystery. I decided the first place I would check was the library. It's only a hunch, but I needed to start somewhere. I strode over to the music section and was surprised, or not surprised, to find a sleeping Emmett, head buried in his arms that was propped up on the table in front of him. Pulling out a chair, I sit next to him, but do nothing else. He just looked so peaceful. I didn't disturb him. Though after about 5 minutes time, he sat up, rubbing his eyes and glancing around the room.
What?
Emmett nearly falls out of his chair when he sees me.
Sarah?
I smile warmly at him, slightly tilting my head.
Good evening, Emmett.
Did you need something?
Not really. I just wanted to see you.
Oh, I'm so cute.
Oh, okay.
He lowered his head and started fiddling with the wire leading from his headphones to the player.
You know, you're very interesting.
Huh?
Oh, you sound so precious.
You're all quiet and easily flustered, but I'm sure there's more to you than meets the eye.
He's a total baddie in the sheets.
I wish there's not.
Huh?
What? He continues to fiddle with the wire only more intensely. Was I making him uncomfortable?
I'm sorry about earlier. In the bathroom.
Oh, that. I overreacted. It's actually quite hilarious now that I think back on it.
I scratched the back of my head, smiling nervously.
So, do they have any really good CDs here?
Not really.
Oh.
Soon an awkward quietness swept over, one very different from the usual quietness of a library. Probably wasn't even quite a minute yet, but those seconds sure dragged out like an eternity as we said nothing during that whole amount of time. I don't think either of us had anything to say, so I stepped up to the plate to end the silence.
I like you a lot, Emmett.
Wait, what? We're just gonna tell him straight up? Startled, Emma looks at me, cheeks turning a light pink.
I don't think I ever got a chance to thank you for, not judging me for being a lottery kid.
Lottery kid?
Yeah, that's what the girls at my old school would say to insult me, since I won a raffle to get admitted to these schools.
Oh, I see. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. You were really lucky. You're probably actually doing better than most of them are. If a certain family is pouring a lot of money in, it doesn't really matter if their grades are terrible. In order for the school's good reputation to stay intact, often the scholarship kids have to pick up a lot of the slack.
He clenched his fist while saying this. I was curious to ask if he was a scholarship kid, but then how can he just sleep in class like that? He'd be kicked out for sure. So in the end, I didn't ask anything concerning that.
I see. Maybe that's why no one...
A raffle scholarship was different from taking the entrance exam. Even if I did nothing but produce passing grades and possibly repeat years, I can continue attending until graduation. The only way out is pretty much dropping or getting expelled.
If you need help with anything, I wouldn't mind. I know it doesn't seem like I do much, but I don't intend to waste my time here either.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly waste your...
You're not a waste of time.
Oh! He said that quite seriously, looking directly into my eyes. However, he quickly turned his head as if he was embarrassed to have made eye contact. I smiled, trying to suppress laughter. He really is adorable. And I'm so happy that he sees I'm worth something.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we will draw the name of the lucky child who may attend one of our establishment's prestigious schools of choice at no cost, without an entrance exam.
This lady sounds funny.
He or she shall be fully sponsored and will be kept until graduation, no matter if at one point their grades fail or must repeat a year. They will finish when they can finish.
The hell? You're telling me it's okay to fail? It was a dream. No, it was a dream come true for a lot of kids, and more often a lot of parents too. The International School Link of Exceptional Education, or ESLI for short. ESLI? A ridiculously long name, I know. Is an organization of corresponding schools around the world that's top tier, often expensive and uniform, that have the best teachers out there. They also help their graduates get into good university or career. Also, don't forget bragging rights. Due to the high tuition costs, mostly only rich kids get to attend. So for lower income families, there's an available entrance exam to get a scholarship if your child can prove they can maintain high grades to continue the school's good rep. But the amount of available exams per school varies on how many sponsorships were donated. My parents were confident I could easily pass, but unfortunately we were always too late in getting signed up. You can imagine how much of a godsend it must have been when they heard about Isley's sponsorship raffle. I remember over 400 names being placed in a large glass jar, one by one, as parents paid a $2 ticket fee to have the child's name written down. Parents couldn't afford any of the local private schools in our area, and the public school nearby always had one of its attendees end up on the news for doing something bad. On top of that, both my parents were working and couldn't homeschool me, much less hire a tutor. My grandmother for the longest time assisted in teaching me, but she had become very ill and wasn't able to anymore. I had to finish up the rest of 5th grade studying on my own. For my parents, this was their last chance at giving me a good education, and that'd be in a safe environment. I wasn't keen on going to boarding school, but they looked so excited that I chose not to say anything. My mom squeezed my hand tightly as the coordinator pulled a name from the jar. I could tell my dad was nervous too, folding his hands and muttering a
And the
prayer.
child who shall receive the coveted Isley Specialty Scholarship
Oh, it's
is
Isley.
Miss Sarah Abigail Kathleen St. Clements.
Oh, thanks! Thanks, I won. Even though we already know that, but I guess this is backstory for it. But we're gonna end the episode here today. The demo was actually very long, so I'm quite pleased. And obviously, you guys know. My heart pounds for Emmett always. He's just so precious and adorable and everything. I feel like Tori is actually the guy I usually go for in visual novels, but Emmet it somehow stole my heart in a way, and I'm not ready for this demo to end because I feel like I'm gonna be heartbroken where the demo's gonna stop us at, as per usual as demos go. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.